Celestial Update, December 8th. I've recently found what I call a timeline room in the Akash. I enter into the Akash and travel to this very specific area, and there are these beautiful, huge white and gold doors that lead to the timeline room. It's obviously not actually a room, but a space outside of time that you can perceive time without being in it. In this space, you can travel through time also, choosing points in time to visit, to heal, to shift, and to align. Today I was shown two densities. I was only shown the 4D and the 5D. In the 4D, I was shown an individual walking in a timeline loop. It looked as though they were elevating and ascending, but would return back to the exact same point they started walking the loop on, always looking confused at the end/beginning. The second person was slowly walking up a timeline that was a staircase, looking down at his feet, but still elevating, slow, steady progress. The rest of the 4D time fields were flat, not ascending further. The landscape of all of these time fields feels like a carnival. The timelines look like roller coasters. There is little to no multidimensionality here. It still feels very rooted in the 3D frequencies of rage. For some reason, the idea of coming through, and it should be known that this element of ascension is highly distorted. Unity does not mean we are all the same, and in that sameness, we have no responsibility to our individuation or those we love. Each individuation is a fractal of source, with its own lessons, learning, and realizations needed. The idea of free separation is not about ascension. This is inverted. To truly understand self-mastery and divine alignment, one would need to master their energy, chi, or life force, to the point that celibacy is not forced, but the Shen, Qi, and Qing is utilized within the body to increase health, vitality, life force, and supernatural abilities. At this point, there is no need to expel excess energy as it is fully utilized within the being. Over-sexualized liberation and ideation is a 4D false reality construct to keep individuals stuck in the lower subhuman planes, as is technology, AI, and transhumanistic evolutions via technology. These are all fourth density reality constructs and will stagnate true spiritual liberation if one gets lost within it. Humans, as angelic beings, begin to express within the 5D and beyond time fields and densities. There's a lot coming through right now. I will revisit this in a minute. This is when I was writing it. As we move back to the densities and time fields in the timeline room, I am shown the 5D and above. This, similar to a bandwidth, sits on top of the 4D time fields. This represents the diamond core timeline, and it begins with the 5D crystal core mother arc as an anchor. Here I see beautiful diamond, aqua, magenta, gold, and silver light with one individual. Here there is one master, if you will, wearing a blue robe, levitating. From this being's presence, all realities, expressions of self, extend from this presence. Timelines are created and destroyed. I am seeing this individual holding an orb of light. Within this orb of light are infinite timelines. This being opens the palms and time fields are immediately expressed, formed, and stabilized. In this reality, there is more unity as the one is working with a strong foundational core and others are able to express that divinity throughout the timelines. This bandwidth does not just represent 5D, but includes all reality structures into the 8D. The 5D allows for access to the higher frequency dimensions and timelines. All can be fluently expressed, experienced, and understood from this plane of existence. Qing represents the lower nature being utilized for divine purposes, the shift into the angelic being, and utilization of the body as a divine channel. The human is dualistic by design, as we were meant to bridge the lower world with the higher. We are the bridge, our hearts the portal from one reality to the next. Living within the lower nature will anchor one into the subhuman planes. The subhuman planes are finite and will eventually dissolve. This inverted reality structure was never meant to persist, but was allowed to be so we, as the one, Source God, could learn about itself. As we ascend and evolve into the higher angelic timelines of the 5D and above, we anchor into our angelic or superhuman template that sits above the heart. The 5D shift in chakras and expanded light body allows us to live within the higher timelines organically. We become the angelic human as we have fully activated the angelic human template and anchored into the angelic human timelines and the ascended earth via the diamond core timeline. There's still a very strong divide here between the 4D and 5D, but I am not being shown the 3D at all, which to me means that reality structure has either completely separated or dissolved. As I speak of 3D, I'm speaking of the fully submerged subhuman entity lost in the chaos and darkness, and the timelines connected to those. I've spent the last many months, probably lifetimes, but consciously the last many months, intentionally liberating souls from the inverted source energy. I have always been a psychopomp and a bodhisattva. There are many souls waiting to be liberated still in an in-between world, and I am being shown this imagery, which is the one I've been working with to liberate these beings. As a psychopomp, I work with the souls of the lost. As a bodhisattva, I work with those seeking spiritual liberation while alive. This time cycle is extremely important as we can lift out of this inversion, which is the graduation. It is ascension. It is leaving this structure. Many need help, most don't know. Get out of the circus, step into liberation. As you do, hold your hand out to those that need the support. We can all do this together. At this point, I do not feel as though the 4D are lost, but they will not be fully liberated. Spiritual liberation comes via 5D and above. At the AT level, one is able to move through densities, just like the dragon spirit, into and out of time fields, space-time, and time-space, into the lower worlds, and instantaneously back into the higher. Frequency and vibration are easily metabolized into density expressions. One moves into and out of these realms, even the lost chaos of darkness, with grace. This is not the path of the light, but the path of the warrior, the ones whose spiritual strength is so divinely and so strongly anchored into the angelic that the dark, inverted, and chaos energy has no chance to distort, influence, or overtake. To those angelic beings who have walked through the darkness, know your strength is incomprehensible, your power infinite, and your mission blessed. Keep going. Remember who you are. That is it. Sending love.